It is time. Honestly, my favorite holiday is Christmas. I absolutely love it. I understand that if we're really going and being Bible scholars, and we know that he probably wasn't born around Christmas time, we only line this particular time up because it used to coexist at the same time as a pagan holiday, form this sort of alliance, and it became this whole one big festival thing that we now know as Christmas. That's fine. Because at the end of the day, Jesus is always going to be the reason for the season for your girl. What really does it for me, what really puts me in the mindset of Christmas time is when I hear those three magical words. In my mind.
In my mind. I want all men to be free.
Hey y'all, my name is Shannon Ray. If this is your first time joining my channel, I want to offer you my sincerest salutations. We come together each week and we talk about life, love, the pursuit of purpose, and never ever holding ourselves up to a standard of perfection, but rather celebrating each moment of potential that we get to live out. If you're into that sort of thing, I would highly suggest you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. I want to be sure that you have the opportunity to catch everything that may be coming from me that might be helpful for you or someone you know. So oh man, did I spill? Too early in the video for this. It happens more often than not. I'm out here fighting for my life with this algorithm. So turn on those notifications, okay? You don't want to miss your girl. I don't want to miss you. A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to a really, really incredible sermon from Sarah Jakes Roberts. If you know me, you know I love her. Sarah Jakes Roberts was sharing a really powerful message. I've listened to it several times since then that talks about becoming a partner with God. That message was so deeply felt for me for several different reasons. I am on a journey right now where I feel like I finally am kind of locking in and linking arms with God as we are going through life, and I am leaning into him more and more and more to understand what next steps should be, to understand that even though I don't feel capable of certain things, that because I lean on him, he is my strength, he is my wisdom, and it's been such an amazing experience. So hearing Sarah Jakes Roberts talk about that, and I'm going to list it below because she talks about how you have to become someone that you might not expect in order to really fulfill all that God has for you, all of his desires, all of his hopes, to save and build the marriages of your dreams, of the family that you've longed for. And she uses the story of Gideon in Judges to talk about how God seeks out Gideon because he has proven himself to be a mighty man of valor. I will link that sermon because I believe that you should hear it. Today, I want to talk about what has happened since I decided to partner with God and how much my life has changed. I'm going to talk to you about the truth of how hard it's been, but I'm also going to talk to you about the truth of how beautiful and amazing it's been as well. I think we all go through these seasons, and sometimes we don't necessarily name them the correct way. I know for a long time I talked about rainy seasons where life is seemingly pouring out all of this tough stuff around you. There's heaviness to it. There's weight to it. You feel like you're getting soaked. You can't see the sun. You can't necessarily even see what's right in front of you because the rain is so heavy. For me, in 2019, I felt very lost. I felt like I was in a place where I needed to do something different, to be someone different. I was tired of having the same experiences, of dating, of working in the same types of jobs. I was really looking for something deeper, a deeper level of connectivity. And what I didn't realize was that the connectivity that I was seeking was a deeper level of connection with God and with myself. But instead of looking inwardly, instead of looking upwardly, I looked out and I tried to connect myself to someone who I thought could help anchor me. And what I ended up doing was being more lost, more hurt than I ever had been before. And that doesn't necessarily sound like the beginning of a happy story. That doesn't necessarily sound like the beginning of a fairy tale, but it very much so was. Because what it meant was that as I started to go down this dark path of feeling lost, of dealing with anxiety, of having moments of loneliness that were so deep that I wondered if I'd ever find that connection that I was seeking. But it made me get to a place that was so low where the only thing that I could turn to was God. The only thing that I could turn to was the word. And it began to prune me in a way that allowed me to give up what it was that I thought I needed from life in order to be fulfilled. And instead, open myself up to the idea of what God had for me and what fulfillment could look like for me outside of the parameters and limitations that I had placed around my life. It sounds cliche. Trusting the process is so much easier said than done. Trusting the process was absolutely pivotal to stepping into any type of partnership with God. What we don't understand is that God's love for us is not a dictatorship. God's desire for us, God's hope for what we will do in the earth is not a mandate unless we choose to accept it. What it is an offering. God is giving us such an incredible gift, but we have to be the ones who are willing to step into what he's asking us to do. What is so difficult about that is because the element of not knowing can be overwhelming. Stepping into that unknown, you have to release who you thought you were and all of the things you thought that you wanted. Not because the desires of your heart don't matter to God, not because God won't even grant you the things that you've been praying for, but there is a very slim chance that the things are going to show up in the way that you expected them to. And so you have to trust that if it's for you, it will come to you. And that level of faith is hard. It's frustrating. It's terrifying in some cases. I'll speak with you frankly. I'll be open about something. I walked away from my marriage, and one of the hardest things about it was understanding that there might not be another marriage to walk into. While I believe that I have a promise over my life, while I believe that I've heard a word about it from God, where and when, I have zero idea. Also, walking away from that meant giving up dreams that I currently had. I wasn't going to be having a baby that next year like I wanted. I wasn't going to be starting my family at the time that I had presumed I would. I wouldn't be given the opportunity to raise my babies up at the same time that my friends are, because at this point, they're now years ahead. It meant understanding that my family is likely going to look different than I thought, that my village might look a little bit different than I thought because I am on a different path. And it doesn't make me sad anymore, but I would be lying if I said I didn't have to mourn it. Taking God's hand and walking with him means that you do so blindly, not without guidance because you're trusting God, but without any understanding of what the aspect can be beyond the promise that it will be good. And sometimes hearing that it will be good doesn't feel like enough when you're crying because you're going to get a baby shower that is not your own. It will be good doesn't necessarily feel the most comforting when you know that this marriage that you worked so hard for just isn't going to happen. It will be good feels nebulous and it sometimes doesn't feel tangible, but I'm here to tell you on the other side of the heartbreak, before I've reached the place that I really wanted to be in, it already is good. Trusting the process for me meant stepping into a career that puts me on a global scale to impact change for so many people. That connection, that connectivity that I've been praying for from God came in a form that I would have never seen coming. I never would have been able to share the stories that I began sharing at the beginning of this year on this YouTube channel that has allowed the channel subscribers to grow, that has allowed me to be able to touch and talk with people in different countries, to talk with people from different walks of life, different stages and places in their relationships, and actually feel a commonality and a sense of a bond. I prayed to God for a vision. I prayed to God to step in and restore, and God has done that. My vision for marriage was supposed to be a place where I would feel connection. My vision for family was supposed to be a place that I would be able to pour into and even receive back. love and trust and challenges and problem solving, all of these different things that you want your village to be, that you want your family to be. And I have been able to find so many amazing aspects of that, not only in my friendships that have been here for 20 plus years, but in these new relationships that I'm developing all across the world. I didn't think like that. I didn't think that big. It never entered into my mind. So as I sit here and I think about how things turned out and how they haven't quite been what I thought they were going to be, I can say with you with all sincerity that it's good, because he's filled me up this way. I can't wait to see what's to come. Have you noticed, like, when you start to do construction on a house, all of the messes that are made seem to just implode? When you are building this house, you have to sometimes go through the process of demolition so you can get to the place of completion. That is what it's like to be in the process of partnering with God. It means that sometimes things are going to look crazy, and what you have to do in those moments where things feel so bad and they look absolutely like all you're doing is making a mess, is to continue to lean into the word that God gave you, lean into the word that God has left for us in that magnificent Bible, and trust in that process. I think very often so many of us want to focus on the glory stories. We want to talk about what happened on the other side of whatever choice that we made. And I'm the same way. I like to hear the win. I like to see the redemption and the restoration. But sometimes I worry that we will overlook the glory of today. I refuse to cry on camera, and here's why. I just feel like crying is very intimate, and I don't like to put that, out into the ether. Also, honestly, I feel like I'm one meme away, one good cry, and I'm going to become a meme. I am an ugly crier. It's not attractive. My face won't relax. I don't know how to do it. Oh gosh, the lump gets in my throat and I sound like I'm going to actually throw up instead of actually just want to release tears. It's not my finest moment. As you're trusting the process and you're looking forward to the glory that's to come, you cannot overlook the glory of what is. There are many places that I am hoping, that I am believing that God will still show up for me. Places in my finances, places in my health, places in my personal life, in my personal relationships. When going through this process, you get to a point where you start to see a bit of acceleration, some redemption. I've heard it so many times about how God will restore everything that the locusts have eaten. I, over this last year, have had chances to mend fences with friends I've missed, to spend time with family I've been apart from because of COVID or because of life, to excel in places career-wise and I think would have taken other people years to achieve. God has put me face to face with people who have mentored me without even knowing that they were saving my life on the other side of a TV screen or computer screen. God will restore your time back. And a lot of times when we have to partner with God and trust in what that means, we don't know what that can look like, if that means he's going to give us years on the end of our life, or if he's going to jam pack so much into an experience this suddenly season that you find yourself almost in a tailspin thinking about all that God has done for you in such a short amount of time. This place that I'm in now is what I was praying for 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And I look at it and I'm so grateful for it. And I know that I'm still not even on the other side of what glory he has for me, but I can't dismiss this because it is so huge to me. I'm not crying. What this is like sinuses. If you like this video, as I mentioned before, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you are filled with Christmas cheer. Go watch a Hallmark movie. Enjoy some eggnog if that's your thing. some cider, which is my personal preference. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.